For the second time in the adventure, Sabin finds himself miraculously washing ashore and not drowning. Which, you know, good for him. And here's our next character. Who's actually one of the best characters in the game. But he's a secret best character. Mr. Gao. He's really, really, really good. But most players of this game, especially back when the game was new, had no idea how good Gao was. Because he's not good out of the box. Sabin is good out of the box. He's got Aura Bolt, he's got 2 earrings, he's got a lot of hit points, he's amazing. Amazing character. Right out of the box. We're gonna run. We don't want to deal with any of this yet. There's no more experience to be had here. There's no reason to fight these battles except for the gold, and we don't need the gold that much. We are going to do some shopping when we get to the town over here, but... so Gao is a great character, but he needs a little bit of work in order to make him great. But we are going to do that work. We're going to put in the time. We're going to make Gao awesome, and he's going to be our strongest character for a very long time. We're almost there. Oh, we can't run away from this fight. No problem. Let's tear him up. So the Veldt is a special area on the world map where every enemy formation you've encountered throughout the game will appear eventually on the Veldt, with very few exceptions. If it's a random encounter, the Veldt has it. So the Veldt is a place you can go in order to like level up your characters by teaching them new magic spells, but not actually giving them experience points. The first thing we're going to do here is hit up the relic shop. I don't think he's got new relics for us. Like, yeah, we don't need any of those. Man, look at how big the cast is already. Like, even Gao is already down there. There's tons of characters in this game. Woo! But this bed is free. Hooray for bed. We're going to do a little bit of shopping here because this place has better equipment. Actually, we can do the shopping in Nikia, I think. I'm pretty sure we can do the shopping in Nikia. So... dried meat, eh? Well, I would like to buy me some of that. Let's go ahead and buy a couple more high potions. I think the only thing else we need here, I'm going to buy a couple eye drops to cure blindness. Alright, so we should be good. Now we can go actually get Gao in the party. There's a relic you can get in that town by doing a little side quest. So, there is an injured man in that town. Let me see if I remember how this goes, because it's been many years since I've actually done the side quest. But there's an injured man in the town who's writing letters to his girlfriend. Hey, what's up, Gao? And if you deliver 3 of his letters for him, you get an accessory called the Cat's Bell that restores HP while you walk around on the world map. It's not that useful of an accessory, and it takes a long time to get because you have to deliver a letter, then go stay at the inn so time passes, then deliver another letter, then stay at the inn again so time passes, and then repeat that one more time for... I mean, essentially an accessory you're not going to use ever. So we're going to skip that, not do it. But the real reason it's there is because it's a storyline thing. If you complete that little side quest, some story that we'll get when we reach the second world of the game will make more sense. But I'm not going to bore you with it. I guess we will go back into town and do our shopping here. I think we have enough money to buy everything we need. Because we're going to want to... Who do I want to have my guy? I guess we'll have Loki have the Genji glove. I'm not sure. Because after this scene, we'll be finished with the scenarios. We will all reconvene in Narsh. Everybody will come together, and we'll have a big battle where I've got to equip everybody at once. Everybody's already got pretty good equipment for this point in the game, but Mobliz here, and then Nikia, once we get there, have an upgrade. Have new equipment that we haven't seen yet. That's more powerful than what we have. That's another reason to do Sabin's scenario last, so you have as much money as possible to do this shopping with. So Gao is going to come with us. He's our buddy now. But he swears he's got a shiny, shiny treasure. But yeah, we'll do our shopping in Mobliz here. I'm pretty sure we can afford everything we're going to need. It took me many years to realize that what Gao does here is show like a map of the Veldt. He says, the shiny treasure's here. Where Sabin is standing is where Mobliz is. Where Cyan's standing is the place where the river brought you. The original Woolsey translation, that didn't make a lot of sense. And I thought Gao was always just describing the Veldt, like the geography of the Veldt for some reason. But no, he's actually drawing you a little map of the Veldt to tell you where the mountain is. Kind of unnecessary, because the mountain is the only other place on the Veldt that you can visit that matters. I once played the game where I named Cyan Mr. Thou, and that was hilarious for many, many reasons. So here's good old Kappa the Imp. What's up, Kappa? He's going to teach us how to use Gao's abilities. So Gao has an ability for every individual monster in the game. Every monster that is in a battle formation that can appear on the Veldt, Gao can learn an ability from, with, I think, 2 exceptions. And I think both of those exceptions are because they're boss monsters that are coded improperly. So we're going to go ahead and give him the Gigas Glove and the Hyper Wrists to increase his attack power as much as possible. We're going to go ahead and... I guess we got to go buy new equipment anyway. We're going to go back to town real quick. So here's how it works. Gao does not have an attack command. He has the command Rage, which right now I think he doesn't have a whole lot of rages. Like, what does he start with here? Just some stupid stuff. Just some crap that we're never going to use. Like, the best thing he's got, I think, is Magitech Armor. Every rage has 3 possible additions to Gao's arsenal. Let's just see what we need here. Iron Armor, we're going to need... Actually, let's start with weapons. Let's make sure we get the weapons first. And then I'll explain how Gao works. The question is, do I buy one of these or 2 of these? If I give him a Genji glove... I think we're only going to want one of those. And I think he'll be fine. I'm going to buy 2. And I'll buy 2 of these just in case I don't know who I want to give the Genji glove to when we get to the big battle scene. Eventually. But you see, Gao doesn't even have a weapon. Can't even equip a weapon. Okay, so we need... Because we need to equip all these characters except Shadow. So we need 4 of these. We need 1 of those. 6 of these, really? Okay. Let's see. Nobody needs a bandana. Does this actually increase magic power? Whatever, they have iron hats. We don't need plumed hats. I'm going to buy one of these. I don't think we're going to need it because the last person to equip one of these will have a Genji glove, which means they'll have 2 weapons anyway and can't equip a shield. But, okay. Let's optimum. Okay, so here's how this works. Gao doesn't have an attack command. He has the Rage command instead of his attack command. Every monster in the game has a potential rage. When you select his rage, he becomes uncontrollable for the rest of the fight. but he takes on the properties of the monster he's raging. So, any inherent properties the monster has, for example, if the monster is flying, or undead, or weak to fire, or whatever, Gao will take on those properties. On Gao's turn, he will flip a coin. If he flips heads, he will he'll just do a regular attack with his regular stats. That's the only way to make him attack. If he flips tails, he'll use a special ability that monster has. And some monsters have really friggin' good abilities. We're not going to leave the Veldt until we get 2 particular rages. The way to earn rages is on the Veldt, he's got a command called Leap. Whenever you make him leap, he jumps at the monster, the battle ends, he leaves the party. He learns the rages of all the monsters in that battle formation. Then you keep fighting on the Veldt, and a few battles later, Gao will come back, and as long as you don't attack him, he will, like, we're going to make him leap right now, so he learns Lesser Lopros. So this fight, he's going to get Lesser Lopros, Nautiloid, and Exocyte rages. He's got those now. Lesser Lopros has a rage called Fireball, which is really good. It's a magical attack. And now we need him to come back. So we're actually going to win these fights. And if Gao comes back during this fight, he's going to learn the Were-Rat rage. That's kind of how that works. He didn't come back yet. But there's one other monster that we need to get before we leave to make Gao an incredible character. And it's not Nettle Hoppers. Unfortunately. So, the battle formations on the Veldt come in a set pattern that roughly corresponds to their position in the game. When you find a battle formation out and about in the wide world, it adds it to the rotation in the Veldt. And that's why we had to fast forward earlier to get some stray cats. So now, oh, you know what? Cyan's probably going to hit him because he's berserked. Come on. Oh, thank God. If you hit him, he runs away. But if you don't hit him, Gao rejoins your party. So now I'm going to fast forward until we meet up with the monsters I'm looking for. I'll see you guys on the other side. And so at long last, we have the Stray Cat Rage. And yes, it was worth it. Trust me, it's absolutely worth it. Oh, how long did that take? Let's see. About an hour in playtime, give or take. Last time we saved was on the Phantom Train, so yeah. been a minute. But we're back on track now, and this is where Gao's shiny object is. I promise this Stray Cat Rage, if you've never used Gao before because you were confused by how Rage worked, or because like there were too many options, like if you sit on the Velt for a while and just leap at whatever comes along, his list very quickly fills up with dozens and dozens of rages, most of which are worthless. And experimenting with all of them would take hours and hours. But you'll notice that Gao is currently floating because at some point I raged that Lesser Lopros, which is a flying monster. Because while I was cycling through all the battle formations on the Velt, there are some unrunnable ones that we can't escape from. In those battles, it was just have Gao throw out the fireballs, it's fine. Also, one of the unrunnable encounters is the Satellite, the monster in a box we fought in the Imperial camp. And due to the way that monster in a boxes work, in most Final Fantasy games, the items you get out of a treasure box, even if there's a monster in a box, is tied to the treasure box. In Final Fantasy VI, it's tied to the battle formation. So any monster in a box that you can find on the Velt, for example that Satellite, you can get as many of those items as you want by finding them on the Velt repeatedly. The reason that some monsters on the Velt are more common than others is because each battle formation is in like a group. Like each part of the overworld has, like, it's called group, let's say, 13. And group 13 is filled with all the battle formations that you can find on that part of the overworld. And so group 13 includes Stray Cat plus the other battle formations we fought while we were in that area of the map. Whereas stuff like the Satellite is a monster in a box that's in a group all its own. So let's see the power of Stray Cat at work now that we finally have it. That's why we like Stray Cat. Cat Scratch is a special ability that he'll use 50% of the time. That is basically 4 times more powerful than his regular attack. It's really good, and you can make it even better throughout the course of the game. But anyway, because that Satellite is in like a monster, that formation that the Satellite appears in is in a monster group all to its own, every time you cycle the Velt encounter list, you're guaranteed to run into a Satellite, which means we got a few more green berets for our trouble, which means we'll have a few more green berets to distribute when we get to Narsh, which will be awesome. So yeah, that hour was worth it to get Stray Cat, and I knew what I was going for. To somebody who doesn't know Gao's strengths, who doesn't know what rages are good, you're looking at hours and hours and hours of experimentation at best. So the summary is, you learn all the rages for the formation you leap at, and all the rages that are in the formation when he returns. Each rage only has one special ability that it only uses 50% of the time. So the idea is you find rages that have good special abilities and then just stick to them. Going through Serpent Trench here, this is another one of those like battle gauntlets that we were checking out earlier. Kind of a mode 7 deal, and we get there's really good rages here. One of these rages uses Gigavolt, which is a very powerful lightning attack, which unfortunately we can't get the battle formation and then go back to the Velt. In all honesty, I don't think I will go back to the Velt over the course of the game. Maybe once at the end of the game to pick up 1 or 2 more things. Cat Scratch is good enough. Cat Scratch is good enough for the whole game. In the original version of the game, this has been patched out of the current versions. If you buy the version I'm playing on the Game Boy Advance, or if you buy the on the iOS version, which, by the way, don't play the iOS version. What the hell is wrong with you? Don't do that. But Gao cannot equip weapons. He's just not able to. No, he doesn't have any weapons in his equipment. He always fights bare-fisted. This is my favorite door in the game, by the way, right here. I love this door. Why is this door here? We're in an underwater sea trench. Oh, there's a treasure box I missed up there, isn't there? We're gonna go back for it. We gotta go through my favorite door again. But anyway, that was true in the original version as well, in the SNES version. There we go. There's another green beret. Hooray, we got all kinds of green berets. You get a green beret, and you get a green beret. But there's a relic called the Merit Award that expands equipment list. Basically, every character has their own equipment list, but there's also a Merit Award equipment list. And if you give somebody that relic, they can equip all of the Merit Award stuff on top of the their personal stuff. And we're not even going to go into Nikia. I'm just not interested. We've already done all our shopping. Hopping aboard. So there's a sword. It's actually a samurai sword in the game, where whenever you attack, it has a percentage chance, instead of doing a regular attack, to do a wind slash, which is a wind attack that hits all the monsters. We'll probably see that later in the game, because there'll be a stretch of game where Cyan has that weapon equipped. It was called the Tempest originally. It's got some Japanese name now. I'm not really certain what it's called now. But the idea is you gave Gao that Merit Award, and you gave him that sword, so now his regular attack, while he's raging, can do the Wind Slash. Which, if you cat scratch, the Wind Slash was an amazing amount of damage to all monsters on the screen. Unfortunately, in the GBA version, we can't do that anymore, but the trick was called Wind God Gao. And unfortunately, it has been patched out of this version. There's another glitch where you can... I mentioned Cyan's level 2 Bushido move, Sky, which is a counterattack, basically. The way that it's coded, you can abuse it in the original version. So instead of just counterattacking one attack, I think the way it works, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but make sure an attack hits Cyan while he's in that counterattack state. Make sure it kills him, and then when you revive him, he'll go to counterattack. But because he's been dead, his AI is borked. And instead of just launching one counterattack at the monster who hit him, he'll attack over and over and over until every monster is dead. And that was called the Psycho Cyan glitch. That has also been patched out of this version. So I said Cyan's the worst character in the game, but he did have a glitch you could abuse to basically win any fight as long as you knew the setup. I used to wonder as a kid why Locke and Celeste took longer to get to Narsh than Sabin did, considering Sabin had to go pretty much around the whole world to get back. But, oh, Miranda. Yeah, Cyan's mad because Celeste destroyed Miranda, and that strikes Cyan because the Empire also destroyed his town. But I guess it makes sense, because Locke, you don't actually get to see everything Locke did in South Figaro. He must have been in South Figaro for a while. It must have taken him a little while to get in. He must have taken he did some detective work, some investigation while he was in town. He must have done something to bolster the returners already in South Figaro. We didn't come up upon Locke's story until he was ready to leave South Figaro. So his story probably did take the longest in terms of time. So, I played this game when I was a very young child, and shortly after playing it, I went through my fanfiction stage. I do have some fanfiction on the internet. It's easy to find. I'm sure you can Google it up, head into the Internet Archives, the Wayback Machine. But I wrote a story because that line of Cyan's, she's the one who destroyed Miranda. That always... Because, they never explain a lot of Celeste's backstory. You don't learn what actually happened in Miranda. What did she do? And why did she turn traitor? So I actually wrote a piece of fan fiction entitled Miranda, detailing that plot of what happened. And it leads into why she eventually betrays the Empire. And then years later, because I wrote that fanfic in... Oh, God, I must have been a freshman in high school, maybe. I was very, very young. But later on, in my RPG Makering days, I remade the fanfic using RPG Maker, using all of the Final Fantasy VI graphics and music and things, and it was really popular for a while. A lot of people liked the story a lot. And you can find that also on the internet. Actually, I think it's probably still being hosted by RPGmaker.net if you wanted to take a look at it. But Celeste is the fan favorite in this scene. Everybody has a few words with Celeste. Edgar talks to her, Terra talks to her, Cyan talks to her. We are going to just go on up here and save the game. And that'll be it for us for now. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Shoutouts to Umbaglow for sponsoring this video, and to everybody who helps make my channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.